Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, hey, I'm going over some great, awesome finds, stuff that I think will be high dollar return, plus it's really interesting stuff. Just some cool eclectic mix of stuff this week. So my library, my bookstore at my library, and again, that they don't really sell much like ex-library stuff. It's all donations. I found some cool stuff from there, a couple of other thrift stores and things that I just happened to hit kind of randomly. Some really good stuff. So before I jump in, we'll say thanks. Thanks for the channel support, for the views, for the comments. Hey, you guys keep watching. I'll just keep making these and we'll see what happens. So, and I guess one thing I will do before I jump in is people said, hey, you cut off your t-shirt. So I love this one, this Gandalf's fireworks, and you can see that it says great for parties. So, you know, love the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing. So kind of geek out on that. So let's jump into what I found. Okay, this first set of books, it's kind of bizarre. I had actually, what made me look at them first was there were these books on yoga. Okay, so there was this yoga for self-culture. A lot of these were like from the 40s and 50s. This Raja yoga and this Hatha yoga. I have to say, I don't know, you know, from a philosophy perspective from these books, I'm not sure, you know, about that, but I do enjoy myself doing yoga. I found a couple of, if you want to get into it just for flexibility, there's actually a girl on YouTube. It's Move with Nicole is the name of her channel, and she's got some great yoga and Pilates stuff, and it's just good for you know, flexibility. Get you started in the morning. Check it out if you want to. But these things, you know, I see sold comps on these. I paid $4 each for these, and I see sold comps on these ranging anywhere from that $15 to $20 up to $50 or $60. I got to do a little more research on them, but it was worth it for me for $4 to get them. Thought they were cool. I think I'll be able to sell these for at least 30 to 40 bucks. This particular one here was interesting, the yoga and self-culture. There's one sold for 250 bucks, but it on eBay, but it says that it was autographed to Woodrow Wilson's daughter. But what that allowed me to do on that listing was to check, and you can see here where I paid $4 for it, the gift inscription and the way it was done, the handwriting and the signature against that one. It couldn't quite make out from the signature. It looked like it to me, but from the name of, you know, of here, it was hard to discern. But based on the other one that I see sold for 250 bucks with this gift inscription to Woodrow Wilson's daughter, I think that is the author's signature. Now, this is not Woodrow Wilson's daughter that it's inscribed to, but it is gift inscribed, signed. I think this will push the value of this one up. So that's kind of cool. What's sitting next to those, though, was this other set of books. And there's not a set, it's just different books from the same guy. This from this Walter Russell. Okay, and I'll show you some of the details. But you can see, if you want to read here, it's like The Message of the Divine Iliad. There's The Secret of Light. And then the Book of Early Whisperings. Well, it turns out this Walter Russell guy, in the 20s, 30s, he was kind of, it was like, I wrote a note here just so I could remember, it's like he was the Science of Man movement, and he was elected like the president of that, and it was all about this cosmic illumination, New Age kind of, I don't know if it's called New Age at that time, but that's kind of the, you know, this cosmic illumination kind of thing. Some people at the time might have even called it like occultism, you know, but it was a very spiritual kind of writings, and he wrote these books. Well, what's interesting about this is this set here of these two, The Message of the Divine Iliad, I see this selling individually for about 70 bucks each. Some of them together, they're like 250 bucks for the set. What's cool about these is that they all, I paid $4 for all these. They're all signed with a gift inscription, but it's to our precious Angela Dawkins, whose light we hope will illuminate the world. And it's signed, okay, and dated 1950. They all have this. So again, gift inscription signed. I think I can bring like 70 bucks each for these, maybe more. The same here was the Book of Early Whisperings. Same thing, 1950. And it turns out those yoga books were from the same person. So this person in the 1950s was very into the spiritual, you know, everything from yoga to this cosmic illumination, right? And then this one, I've got a tab here. I want to show you The Secret of Light. What's cool, it didn't look like it was autographed, but then you go back a few pages and look at how that one's done. I mean, that's clearly, it's inscribed to, this was printed, but then there's the robo or printed signature, but then it's also signed, you know, specifically by the author. So very cool finds at $4 each. I think all these I can make, you know, like I said, anywhere from 30 to 70 bucks on them to the right person. And I got lots of sold comps on eBay on them, so it's really good. All right, moving in, I found this at one of my secondary libraries. This was kind of a random stop. Kind of a cool book, this book on light, science and magic. This was, it sells for 37 to 40 bucks on Amazon. Which means I could send this into Amazon. I had a pretty good e-score, like a 40 or 50, so it's selling every 3 or 4 days. And I'll send this in, I can make like $22 profit on it. So that's a nice find. This one's kind of bizarre. I picked this one up at you'll see some of the ones I'm fixing to get into. I've been running into a lot of art books, and they're mainly coming from like an estate sale or two that I'm stopping by. I hit another estate sale, and it's like this other artist, right? And a lot of these will go to Amazon and they'll sell. A few of them, they don't, you know, it's better for merchant fulfilled, or I'll just sell them on eBay because I don't do merchant fulfilled on Amazon. But the ones that have, you know, e-scores of 30 or 40, which means they're selling, you know, a copy every week or so, maybe every 2 weeks, I'm sending them in and just letting them roll. This one on Modern Painters was weird, right? This book had an e-score 4, so it's only selling, you know, every 6 weeks or so. But the merchant fulfilled on it was $54, and new it was $300. So I should be able to get, I think, you know, I'm not going to price it really super high, because if the merchant fulfills like 50 bucks, but I still think it's 50 bucks. I got this on a half off day, so I got it for $1. This is a good $50 book. It may sit there for a few months, but I'll price it right, and it'll sell within 2 months, I believe. This one, not a big high dollar book, $30 book, but this Furniture of Sam Malouf, I guess I'm pronouncing that right, but it was really cool, kind of going through some of this, you know, what I would call, you know, kind of modern, kind of, I mean, that's a gorgeous double chair there, but absolutely, look at those lines on those chairs. I mean, I'd love to have that today in my house. Probably couldn't afford it, but you know, it showed construction methods, and then of course, you know, the pictures of all the stuff. So gorgeous book, about 30 bucks. Had a lower, it won't sell quick. I may actually sell this one on eBay, but it's a nice book. Interesting, $35 book on the Blake's illustrations for the Book of Job. Kind of, you know, the trials and tribulations there. It's a $35 book. I paid 50 or 75 cents for all these paperback ones. This one, I'm gonna send this one into Amazon. This Remington, you know, the Complete Painter. It's got like a, you know, the e-score was like 33, so it's selling like once a week maybe. This is about a $20 book. So no, I'll take that back. It's this one's about like a $35 book, and it, you know, it's really, I always love Frederick Remington stuff, right? Show you, I mean, some of the Wild West, right? Just really beautiful book. There's more of these, you know, there's this watercolor book, you know, painting skies and clouds. It's not like a $20 book, but I got it for $1, so it's pretty good. Here's one I thought was cool. Hey, I've mentioned this before, the Splash series. I've never known this, and in the last 3 months, I've been finding these. This one is like a $30 to $40 book. There's some of them seem like they sell, some of them don't. These are some, I just had to look them up, right? But it's these best of watercolors, I guess, over the years, and yeah, just really pretty paintings. Good stuff. All right, here's one I'm gonna mispronounce, right? Claudius Ptolemy, is that right? Ptolemy? The Geography. $30 book. This is kind of like one of these, you know, It's got some illustrations, maps, you know. Anyway, kind of goes back into that. I was to see Greek, Roman, Ptolemy. Shows my ancient world history knowledge. So pretty bad. All right, this was a kind of random find. Textbooks, you never know. This one, it's a $100 book. It's selling every 3 or 4 days on Amazon. This is what I'll send this into Amazon. I paid, what did I pay for this one? Let's see. It had, oh, that's the green dot. I paid $3 for it, and it's 90 to 100 bucks all day long. So nice find. Textbooks, you just never know about textbooks. You just have to look them up. You'll get one you think is good, and you know whether it's current or it's dated. It's just something you have to look up. All right, now here's one that I hope no one ever has to buy, but I know that if you're going through this, that book reading, having gone through it myself over the years, different times, but it's one on the dog cancer survival guide. Okay, I paid $1 for it. This sells for 30 bucks. I'll send it into Amazon. Again, it's an awful situation if you ever get into that with a pet. I have with cats and dogs, but I know that if you're going through it, something like this can really help you. But I hope nobody ever has to buy this. But you know what I mean. This one I'm keeping. This it's $10 book. I'm not a big fisherman, but I love knots. It's just one of those things I've always loved. The Ashley Book of Knots is another knot book that you know, if you ever find it, sells good, but it's a great book to keep. This is just fishing knots, something I keep for reference. I just love it. All right, then look at some random, and this is hard for me to say. Christophorus, they're Porsche magazines, and there's one Porsche magazine. It's like the Panorama, Porsche Panorama that I've sold it. I've never seen this one before, but I think that's pronounced Christophorus, and these were issues like 397, 400, 402, 399. I'll probably put these in a lot, but I'm seeing them sell, you know, for sometimes $15 a piece, and I got these for 50 cents each. So plus shipping. So anytime I see these weird magazines like this, good. All right. These next two are big wins. I had stopped by one day at my library, and I hadn't really found anything. I was going out, and there are these big, and they were actually in the floor in front of the bookcase, and these big coffee table looking books. I went over and picked them up. The first one, both the same subject, and it's on the quilts of this Gee's Bend. It became prominent probably 30 years ago, but this Gee's Bend, I think the actual town name is Boykin, but it's in Alabama, kind of west of Montgomery, southwest of Selma. It's this predominantly African-American community that over the years, you know, that families, and they did these quilts that are held as like just a testament for Americana and American modern art, the way they were done. And so it really came into prominence, I'd say, in the last 30 years or so. But got this book. It's a huge, huge book. Paid $5 for it. I see this one on Amazon. It's a $120, $130 book. So this is my favorite one of the two. I'll show you the other one next. But I'm trying to make sure I don't mess it up. It shows, the quilts. It's so big, I'll have to do this. Shows examples of the quilts. But the one thing that is really cool about this one, look at this, just beautiful. But let me find it here real quick. What it does is it'll have like a bio of the person, the quilter, the resident, and then show their work. I think it's a beautifully, amazingly laid out book. I paid $5 for it. It's $120, $125. This is a great find. Then sitting right next to it was even a bigger book. Look how thick that one is. But it is, again, Gee's Bend, the women and their quilts. And man, this thing is it's like a 10 pound book. But you can see, again, it's so heavy. I don't want to mess it up, drop it like I have in the past. But there's history and the quilts, right? Paid $10 for this one. And this one I see on Amazon when you run through the apps. It's used, merchant fulfilled is like $175. New, it's like $500, okay? And it has decent scores. I think I can list this for at least 200. I paid 10 for it. Maybe list it a little higher and just see if it, get any bites on it, especially doing it with Fulfilled by Amazon. Great find. So really, that fluid mechanics book, it's like $100 book, these G's Ben books, and check them out. If you can Google it and look at it. It's a fascinating story, for a community and the art. Again, it's just southwest of Selma and Montgomery, kind of 2/3 of the way down the state of Alabama. It's a really fascinating story. But, combine this with the yoga books and this Cosmic Illumination books by the Walter Russell. I got some pretty high dollar stuff here. I wouldn't be surprised that with these I've got, I may have $1,000 worth of profit here when it's all said and done. I've got some really good stuff this week, and just paid up for the two, $5 and $10, which me, I'm not normally paying that much. When I saw that price, I was like, man, I don't know, is it worth that? And I was pleasantly surprised when I did the lookup. If I'm making $10 for it, I'm gonna look it up before I pay for that. You don't want to. It's bad enough when you get a dud for $1. You don't want to get a dud for $10. Those start adding up on your cost. So anyway, that's it. That's the finds. Remember, see cool, buy cool, list it so you can sell it, and hopefully you guys are having a good week. We'll talk to you soon.